Whoa, look at this. We are here once again. Oh man, I just literally just ran in the door and turned all this on and got it going. We are live. Welcome in, everybody. In this episode, I'm going to be doing a recap of the Valkyrie hangar diorama. So I'm going to assemble it all, put all the figures in place, turn the lights on, all that stuff. So everybody will get a chance to see that anyway. And then I'm going to move on to what I'm currently working on, which is the next project on the bench. And I'll show that and probably end up just doing some clipping some parts and snapping together because I'll go into detail about it more often. But what's going on, everybody? Who's all here? Let me know who's watching. Just put a comment in there and say hello. And anyway, we'll get started here in just a second. So here's the Valk, all done. Here's the base. I got the back here. All the figures are sitting right here. They're all pinned. There's holes drilled in various places where they go. And so I guess what I'll do is start putting this thing together so everybody can see what's going on. I got the wheel chocks here. These are anchored down. They're glued down, so I know exactly where to place the Valkyrie every time, especially because there's certain figures that have their hands on it. So it's a good idea to have that set in place so it's always the same. It's always going to go in the same spot every time. Whoops, what was that? What did I just knock off? Knock something? Oh, it was just a battery, I think. I don't know. Something went flying. Oh, it's just my ring. Let me grab it real quick. Ugh. All right. So let's get going. Welcome in. I was out running around and managed to get in the door right before the start of this. So it took a couple seconds, but I'm all good to go now. So here's the base. I've got the munitions expert here. I've got a little bit different angle on the camera this time too, because I'm working behind me, what you can't see on the wall in front of me is some pegboard that has all my runners on it. So I couldn't very well put the camera over here and have it pointed down because it would just be in the way. So I moved it to the corner, a little bit different view this time. Anyway, so we're going to start with this guy. This is the munitions. Let's see if I can get it to focus. I don't know if it's going to or not, but no, it doesn't look like it. Anyway, he goes right here. He's right underneath the Valkyrie with his hands on the gun pod. And I have another guy here, which I probably don't necessarily need to put in, but I will. And he has the avionics tech, so he's got his hands in the front. Now, once I get that in place, I take this and just take the Valkyrie and plop it right down in place. Turn him a little bit. What's nice with having the pins too is that in case I don't have quite the perfect orientation, I can always turn them a little bit. Okay, so now that that's in place, this is where the Valkyrie sits, and because those wheel chocks are there, it's really quite stable. I can move it around, no issues at all. I have this sitting on top of the wing because it's just easier to carry it around that way. This is the refueling cart, which goes in, plugs into the floor right there. Okay, so, oh my God, Kings fan. Yeah, sure, Vandalay, whatever. We got our butts kicked the other night. Thanks, I appreciate it. So there you can see the refueling cart, okay, and then to go along with that, we've got the grape here. That's what their nickname is. Grapes are the guys that are in charge of refueling in the purple vest, so he goes there. And the pilot goes right here. All right, and then the last guy, and this is going to fall off. I'm going to try to keep this from falling off. I've got one of these damn missile pods I had to drill out because the pin broke, and so it's a little loose. I'm gonna have to fix that. But last but not least, the supervisor. There's always one guy standing around getting paid, so he's gonna be right there. And then the last one here, this is the guy on the platform. He goes right up here next to the cockpit. So there you have it. There's all the figures in place. Okay. Now I'm going to put the back wall on. And it's okay because I have this thing, because I got this position just right. It's actually easier to set this down first than it is to try to put the back wall on and then try to get the Valkyrie in place. So what I've got to do here, I've got this is the wire that actually has the floor harness that powers the Valkyrie through the back of the back wall. So as I bring this down, I've got to feed it through the bottom. All right. And it goes right about there. Okay. Nice and tight. This one comes in a little bit right there. There, okay. These are two little clips that come with this base kits, and I'm going to use those just to hold the sides down. This just reassures me that this back wall isn't going to go anywhere, even though it probably wouldn't anyway, but it just gives me a little added security. So I've got to pop these on the sides just to kind of hold that in place. Okay, so there's the back wall. I'm going to slide it in so you guys can see everything. Now on the back here, I've got to connect the harness to the one that came through the floor. Is going to get plugged in here. I'll show you where that's at as soon as I get it done. Just need to plug it in so I can. Okay, so I'm going to gently spin this around so you can see the back. So what I have two of the doors that come off in the back. So I got my 9-volt power supply, which is here, and then here's where that harness comes through. So that's plugged in and ready to go. The last thing to do is just plug in a battery. Now I didn't get a chance to buy brand new batteries, so the one I've got works. It's just kind of a little bit tired, but it'll still serve the purpose. So I'm going to turn this big bright light off here for a second, wait for the camera to readjust, and then I will plug in the battery here, and you can see this whole thing light up. If I did it right. There we go. Okay. Voila. So that's it. There we go. That's it. So I've got 6 LEDs across the roof, kind of one on the side, like over here on the sides. There's one here, one on the 45, and then 3 across the top, or actually 2 across the top, and then so total of 6 basically. That gives that back wall a nice glow. And then you can also see the little control panels behind on the back wall. Those have fiber optics with red and green. So sick. Thanks, Pabs. I appreciate that. Yeah, this one was a pretty long project because I didn't realize that I had actually started it in January last year, but it didn't take an entire year to finish it. I put it aside 2 different times for everything. I did a commission project for a friend, and then I also stopped to build a base for one of my Gundam projects that I was taking to California last year for SCGMC. So, but I don't know if I can really tip this. I don't want this ladder to fall over, but I guess I can kind of see how far I can go with it, just so you can kind of see the front. Try to get it up as close as I can. Yeah, so there you go. Now, one thing I want to do, I'm going to spin this around real carefully. The cockpit is lit up. The console of the cockpit is backlit. I'm not sure you're going to be able to see that. I'm just going to take him off just for safety's sake. The other guys are pinned and everything. They're pretty secure. Nothing's going to really go on there. So I'm trying to get an angle here where you can see. Let's see here. If I tip it right there. Now it doesn't want to focus. Come on. Holy crap. There we go. So the back of the... Whoa. Just lifted up off the ground. Ooh, sketchy, sketchy. This is why we don't tip it. I don't want to lose my shit. So, yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. Anyway, there you go. That's it. One of my pods fell off. I will glue those in place too eventually. I didn't glue them on because I was moving this thing around a lot and I didn't want to have any extra weight or issues going on when I was trying to finish the whole thing. But transform it now. No, this one doesn't transform. Timer is irrelevant when you do good work. Yeah, that is very true, Chris. Very, very true. Sometimes I go through, when I'm done with a project, I'll go through my photos and see when I took the very first photograph of that particular project, and that gives me an idea when I actually started. And I was like, holy crap, it was actually January that I started this one in. But so that's it. I'm going to take this thing apart now and reveal what my next project on the bench is. So turn my lights back on here. It's going to get real bright for a second until everything settles down. Let me take the battery out and I'll just start slowly disassembling this a little at a time. Let's see. It's not too hard. These IC connectors are not too terribly hard to disconnect. I just take a little pocket screwdriver in there and pop it up. But when I get a fresh 9-volt, everything will be really, really bright. It actually looks pretty good now, but it is getting dim. I can tell because I've used it so often that it's starting to kind of show its age and it's not as bright. So I'm going to take these figures off a little bit here, one at a time, and then I will clear this off and show you what I'm working on next. So just give me a second here. Each one of these has its own spot. I had to kind of, oh shit, his came out of his foot. That's not supposed to do that. Easily fit. I gotta grab that. His pin came out of his actual foot. Ugh. I glued them in, but it's a tiny hole, and the pin I'm using is just a really, like a 1/16 of an inch. It's pretty small brass rod that I cut. So I place this on here. This guy out of the ground. Nice. Thanks, Gordon. Appreciate it. So then we lift this out, and I will put this. I'm going to put this back in the cabinet. So give me 1 second here. While I slowly move this stuff out of the way. All right. And eventually, I'm going to flip that. I'll flip the Valkyrie over on its back, and then I can glue those micro missile pods in place permanently. All right. So to get the back wall off here, I've got to pop these little corner pieces out. Yeah, they're not too hard to get off, but there was one other thing I didn't put on there to show you guys, and that was a ladder. There's a separate ladder for the pilot, but again, that's another loose part, and I just know that once I start moving it around, it's just going to fall over. So I left it here. Actually, it's sitting right here. This is the pilot's ladder here. But Yeah, I just left that off. I knew that it'd be kind of pointless to try to set that up and show you. As soon as I move it around, it's going to fall over. It'll be interesting to see how I have to set this up when I go to show it, because I haven't figured out how, if I'm going to mount that in place or just leave it loose. But anyway, so now that I got those clips off, I can pop this up, take the back wall off. Gotta make sure my my harness comes out. There we go. Easy peasy. All right, and this is all glued down. The nitrogen cart is sitting there. It's all glued in place, so none of that stuff to worry about. And then, by the way, this does not fit flat in a detolf. Unfortunately, because the detolf cabinets are wider than they are deep, as far as, I mean, it will fit in there. I won't be able to shut the door. So that's why I've kind of been taking this thing apart every time, just so I can put these individual pieces away. I got a little baggie here for my loose stuff, so throw these in here. Grab this ladder, drop it in. Okay, let me put this in the cabinet. Be right back. Very carefully, so I can get those in there. I can get the Valkyrie and the back wall in there just fine, but unfortunately the base just doesn't fit. So I got to figure some other place to put that. I'll take these as well, along with this guy. All right, now we're set. Let me put this stuff away real quick. One second, folks. Be right back. I'm just popping these guys in the cabinet here. Good to go. All right. Okay, so how's everybody doing? Ready to see what's up next? Some of you may have already heard or have seen something that I posted, a little brief one photograph picture, but here we go, the big reveal. I'm working on the Iwata Architect Advanced Research Colonizer, and this is the special edition kit, so it comes with the light kit and everything, and these little glass inserts that go into all the windows, and really makes it quite simple. I don't have to really try very hard, and this was a nice cool down project for something like after finishing that big Valkyrie diorama. So I'll show you what I've got here. This is the actual, some of these parts. I also realized after starting this that I'm probably going to have to paint this as I go, because a lot of these clear pieces that come with it, they, for the windows and stuff, if I was to put these in, install these, and then paint over everything, it would just cover up the glass, so I wouldn't be able to. So I'm going to have to paint these individual pieces and then assemble it later. So like this glass piece, the base is made to light up through these little thin grooves, and then this is the actual light kit. So this is perfect for your style, man. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun little project. So this is the disc for the base. It comes with a switch and a USB port, came with a USB cable, and then there are 4 harness pieces for the actual kit. One of them I've already installed, and I'll show you what's going on. These 3 still remain to be put in or inside, and this is basically what I have snapped together. This is the first, basically 2/3 of this model kit. I think it's probably going to be about another maybe 2-3 inches, which would bring the total up to, if I was to measure this, maybe about 10 inches long. Just a nice little size kit. And so you'll have the base, and then this piece here. the harness will go up through this tube and then plug into the bottom here. So there's actually one big long LED board that came with it, just like these little boards, but there's a longer one that went the entire length of this and lights up all these little windows. So the only thing I didn't do was install these. These are some of the panels that go in behind these to help light up those lights. Oh, thanks, Mark. Yeah, I've heard good things about it. Seems to go together pretty good. The molds are good. The fit is good. There's not a lot of. I don't think I have to do any real modifications. Somebody said the LEDs were kind of challenging to install, but so far I haven't really come across any of that. They cut these boards to fit perfectly in these pieces, and there's a little outlet here that's going to plug in for another harness piece that goes in here. There's another one here that's going to go up to what would be the paint cup of the airbrush, and then of course the base here that goes through here will come out the bottom. So there's quite a bit left, and this is a little box, comes with a USB cable, everything like that. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to start cutting these out, talking about it. You guys can chit chat, ask me questions, whatever's going on. I don't know the difference really between, other than the light kit. I think the regular standard edition just doesn't come with it. If I'm not mistaken, it still has the glass. I call them glass, but they're this opaque plastic piece that for all the windows. But I think it still comes with those. I just don't know if it comes with all this stuff, the actual pre-wired circuit boards for the LEDs. So anyway, I've got a few steps in here. There's some pretty nice artwork inside as you get in here. It's got a paint chart here, which I've just matched some Mr. Color colors. There's like a red, brown, 2 grays, actually 3 grays, just a light gray, a medium, and a dark gray, and then a red, brown are the only 4 colors that they are showing. So what I've done is I've actually gone through and chosen, and with the exception of one that I'm going to add to it because I think it will look nice. The main thruster nozzle out of the back of this thing kind of looks like an aircraft nozzle. If you look at here, it is right here. This piece kind of has that appearance of almost like a Yamato Star Blazers type, rear main thruster. And I think that would look good in a burnt iron with some bluing effects to it or something like that to make it look like an actual afterburner type thruster kind of thing. So I think that's what I'm going to do with that. So I've added that. That's the burnt iron color here, but I've got number 29 Hull Red, which is, there is a red brown that Mr. Color makes, but it's more brown than red, I think. So I think the Hull Red kind of gives you that better, a little bit more reddish, rusty kind of color to it. German gray I'm using for the dark gray. The medium will be this number 334. That's number 40, by the way. Number 334 is that medium gray I'm going with. And then for the light gray at number 315, which is gray FS 164, blah, 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 blah. But all Mr. Color, that's all I do. Anyway, yeah, so I also want to get you guys' opinion. Since you guys are watching, I'm thinking about changing. In fact, I'm pretty sure, but I'm thinking about changing the day that I do the live streams. I'm trying to get a nice, balance, life balance, work balance, that kind of thing. And Sundays are a day that, to spend with family and stuff. And so I've been doing these streams on Sundays, but I'm thinking about changing it to like a Wednesday night. And do pay attention to the key orientation on the, yes, that is true. That is true, especially like the first step, because there's actually a way that this has to go into the base, right? And if you don't do it right, it will cause issues. I noticed that right away. I appreciate that input. But anyway, I'm thinking about changing the day to Wednesdays. So let me know. It'll be the same time. Let me know what you think. If you don't think that's, if you'd rather see me continue on Sundays, well, then I will take that into consideration. But like I said, I'm trying to balance life, balance work, all this stuff together, and come up with something that works for everybody. Here's a nice picture of the inside. So it kind of shows you the whole kit in a nice angle. And then there's some of the lighting effects here. There's some parts that move. I guess this back piece pops out. It's like an extension, so you can reveal the light there. If you don't want, you can close that if you don't want to see it, which I don't see why anybody wouldn't want to see the light. It doesn't make any sense to me. But it's pretty basic as far as the there's not a lot of, you don't have to do any work. All the window holes are pre-drilled or just molded really into the mold, and then but the what would be the paint cup is actually quite large. So if you're looking at this box, I think actually the art on the box, I believe this is actual size. So this kit is this is about how big it's going to be when it's done. It looks like an actual size. If I compare it to pieces on, let's see, I'll show you what I'm talking about. If I pull this off, it's actually a little bit smaller maybe, but you can kind of see the size of that paint cup there on the runner, and the one, the actual cup on the artwork, but it's pretty close. So yeah, it'll probably be around 10 inches or so for those that haven't built it already. The guys on chat that have done it already probably know this. They already know what size it's going to be. So anyway, I got to I think here, right about here. Yeah, the next step was to start building off of the back of this and installing the harness. I don't know how hard it is or how easy it is to disconnect these once they're plugged in, so I may or may not plug everything in. I think I'm going to have to, at least to test the lighting, but I'm still undecided on that. So it's a gravity feed airbrush in space. Yes, it is. Oh, and because this is the special edition, it came with the extra B1 runner here, which is this little tiny section. And those are some of the, just some hull pieces that go on the outside, but they are embossed with Iwata Architect HPC Plus, Ensign, or Nest Iwata Architect. So it's got the actual Iwata logos and stuff on it, which you don't get in the standard version. And that's right here. I don't know if that's even going to be something that will focus, but let's see if I can get it to, I don't know. Anybody see it? It's kind of hard to tell. I put the laptop off to my left, so I'm having to kind of rubberneck it and see where I'm at on camera as I'm doing this, because like I said, in front of me, just on the other side of the paint racks here is some pegboard that I have all my runners sitting up on. So it leaves me all the extra space on the bench to work. I like being able just to reach up, grab a runner, put it back. That's just the way I've been doing it for a while. It works for me. So I'm going to cut some parts and start kind of building things here. Just snapping this together. And then it should go fairly quickly because there's not a lot of color separation, not a lot of color variance. I'm probably going to prime this and then go over it with a flat black. Instead of just pre-shading each line, I'll probably just black the entire piece and then paint it like I would a pre-shaded model with so you'll see some panel separation there, and it should look really nice once I panel line it and finish it. But I may do some of these little panels in different colors. That might be nice to add the the medium gray or something in there instead of just having it all one piece. There is some separation, some already panel lines already in it that might look nice with some separation. So that's something I can play around with when I get to the painting stage. But for the time being, that's where we're at. So I got some parts to cut out here. This is done mostly just gray stuff. There's only three, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if you include the clear pieces, but just 4 colored runners on this. There's like a medium gray, a kind of like a steel gray, and then this this brown one, which has most of the little grits and stuff for the engines and the up in the paint cup area that's there. And then this is a little bit for the center right here by this engine piece. My phone is blowing up. What is going on? So anyway, I just got back. I watched Avatar again for the second time with my daughter. First time I went with my wife, but this time my daughter wanted to see it with us, so we went down to Bellevue and watched it again. And then it's been raining really steadily here, so the traffic wasn't too bad, but the drive home was kind of shitty. But I managed to make it, and we're here. So anyway, without any further ado, let's get going, cracking away here. I've got the pull C runner, which is right here. And yeah, they're all C's. All pieces are C's. So I'm just using my SP 120s, my God hands, which I thoroughly enjoy. This is, I think, the third set I've had. Because I know it happens to most people that own these. Eventually the blade either breaks or something because these are interesting. They're labeled. I was talking about these, but either you just by using them, they just get worn out. But I do really like the way they cut. So, but these little pieces are actually labeled A1 and B1, and I wonder what the difference is. It's really hard to tell. Oh, okay, I see it. It's on the back. It's actually what it looks like where it lines up on the piece it glues to the main body. There's a notch that is slightly different, which could be considered like a left and right hand type piece. These are all the same, but I wonder if I should A1. So yeah, it looks like both of the A1 ones go on here and here, and then the B ones go on this side. And it's just because they're angled. So I'm going to have to figure out how to make sure I can tell which one's which. I may just write on the back. That's what I've done before in the past when you got a piece that's, because eventually I'm going to be taking this apart and then I got to paint everything. So how do you tell which is which? So I actually take a little, let's see, you know what? It's over here. I've got a little artist, one of these little fine tipped artist pens, and I will go through and actually just write the part number on the back. So this is a B1. And then when oh shit, I just did that wrong. That's funny. After all that, I wrote the wrong one. That's an A1. So that way, when I go, after I paint it, I can actually just flip it over and see which one it's supposed to be. So this is also A1. And these are B1. All right. Just to make it easier during the assembly process after when you take everything apart. So no questions. So as many of you may know or may not know, I've got some family medical stuff going on too with my mother. Quite serious, actually. I don't want to go into too many details about it, but this is a nice little escape. These live streams, talking with my friends, talking on the on the stream here, and it really does help through the process because it's a very, very difficult time right now. And so we're trying to sort through all that and make decisions with that. And so it's been tough. But this too shall pass, right? So I've got C26. That's pretty much it. There's just those 4 pieces. I don't even know if I can really snap these on because of the way they attach. These might be something that I'm going to have to leave off. These don't really... Oh, and there's a little bit of a... Oh, that's just the way it looks. Okay. Yeah, not too much there. Not too much of a nub on this. I like how they've really done very well with the molds on this. Some of the pieces are undergates, use undergates, which is nice. Some don't. They don't need it, but they took some real thought in the way they designed this model kit. It's quite comparable to some of the Bandai stuff, I think. I mean, we do get spoiled by Bandai, and I wouldn't say it's exactly at that level, but considering third-party type model kits, this is from it's actually from, it says Iwata, but the company is called Kishing, Qisheng. Is that the manufacturer? I'm unfamiliar with them, so I don't know if they've done anything in the past or what their history is necessarily, but they seem to have done a pretty good job with this one. So this just fits on the back here. It looks like it goes over all of these, which have to fit just right. So I'll try to get this on here. And here I was talking about how the fit was so nice, and now I'm having issues. No, I think it's just because I didn't want to press this stuff together necessarily super tight, but in some case like this, because this has to fit over like a collar, everything's got to be lined up just right. Wow, that is a snug fit, but I got it. So that kind of holds all that together. And again, I'm not going to fully press that in. I think I want to leave it just so I can disassemble this later. Now, I don't even know if these will stay on. I'm going to see if they will, but if not, I'll just leave them off. These are these little struts that go on here. This is a A1, which is going to go here. So I'm going to try this one first just to see. You know what? It might, because there's a groove there and a groove there, but this has to be all the way on in order to fit. Well, look at that. It will stay on. So they've done a pretty good job of this, making it these pieces fit without needing any glue. I, of course, will go through and glue everything, but yeah, see, this has got to go on. This is going to fit tight. I'm hoping it'll come apart. That's my biggest fear. Is I just want to snap it and see what it's like, but it's like, is it really going to come apart easily without breaking? I'm trying to be especially careful with the wiring stuff. I don't want to break a wire or something like that. That's just... I dealt with that when I built the Elin Kshatriya years ago. You talk about a wiring nightmare. Oh my God, that was horrible. That poor thing. It seemed like every step I had to go through and plug it in and turn it on to make sure it would light up, because it was just that bad. Their wiring was so horrible. So this is one of those LED pieces that I'm doing next, and I'll show you how they did a quite good job with shaping these circuit boards So we got to cut these two clear pieces out here. But they did a really good job. The circuit boards have pins, the alignment pins, and then they've also cut them into shape of the actual piece. So they not only do they have pins that hold it, but they have notches that fit down into the grooves of the actual part. I don't think I got to do any real cleanup with this because this is all going to be internal. I'm going to get most of that nib off but I'm not going to worry about doing any sanding necessarily, because realistically all we're going to be seeing is the light coming through it. And I think if this is the piece I'm thinking of, it's in this center section, so it's going to be like an orange or amber LED. So what I need is this little centerpiece here. It's not very big. So as you can see, yeah, little tiny circuit board. In the center there, then two leads coming off of it, and they're both male leads, so it doesn't matter necessarily which direction they go. In fact, it doesn't even really show you on here that they can go either direction. So, but there's two pins on the bottom of this, so this will fit right in the middle. There we go. Wow, that's pretty precise. I'm just so afraid of, I don't know who did the soldering on these, but it's just like I'm so afraid of always like breaking something because it's done cheaply. But at least this one seems like it's been done quite well. There's a single LED in the center. Maybe I have to glue this together. Yeah, I don't think these two. Now this piece is keyed to go in when it's installed in the kit. It's keyed to go in one direction, but these do not snap together, so I will have to glue that. But that's how it goes. You see that piece? There's an LED right in the center there of that clear tube. Once the two halves are together, so I'm just going to go ahead and use some glue this together. How are we doing? How's everybody's weekend? Anybody got to work tomorrow? Or are you one of the lucky ones that actually has Martin Luther King Jr. off tomorrow? I have tomorrow off, not because I have a real job that gets those kind of holidays. I just happen to have that on my schedule, so I'm off already. But it'd be nice to sleep in a little bit. Okay, so yeah, and then this has a keyway. These round sections here have a keyway, so it will go in only one direction. And I don't see on that piece, I believe, because this is going to be, this is installed into two other pieces that are going to be directional. So that's where they're going to have to go. And they've got these labeled. I mean, they're pretty well done. One connector is up, one's down. So it's only going to go together. So I'm just going to leave this here. Leave that later. I don't know if I'm going to install that. Well, I might. We'll see. Because after I assemble all this, again, I'm going to have to take it apart. So, all right, we need E19 times 4. So I'll put the C runner back up, grab the E runner. I need 4 of these. Here they are. Gosh, they look so much bigger in the instruction manual. And then when you open it, you look on the runner, it's like, wow, that's tiny. So, I wonder if Vandal, are you still here? How's your little cat project doing? I didn't get a chance to watch you today. I saw you back on, but I was getting ready to leave the house, and I couldn't sit down and watch. So I was wondering if you got the LEDs done, if that's working out for you. I don't know. Tell me, what's everybody working on? I don't even know what Pabs is working on. I think I've seen a couple of photos, but I can't remember what it is he's got going. Let's see. No, nobody's talking. Tell me what you guys are working on if you feel like it. Get on the chat. Let me know. Let's talk about it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy a lot. So I'm using this this sander that I got. This razor. It's the, what was it called? The razor. Where's the box for it? Maybe I might have tossed it. Yeah, I think I did. I actually quite like it. It's a nice, very sturdy sanding base, although some of these pieces are just too small for it. But I do like it because it's, some of the flexible type sanding sponges and stuff will round corners off just inadvertently just by using it. But having that nice aluminum base, it doesn't do that. It doesn't walk over corners, and you get a really nice, crisp line when you're sanding with it, especially on a good flat surface. I wouldn't recommend it for curved necessarily, but finishing up a Helios. Nice. Is that a master grade or is it something else? Am I thinking something else? Okay, one more. These are pretty tiny. Pabs is still on the double Zeta of our Ka. Nice. Okay, but you got a dress-up kit for that, right? I think you're doing some resin stuff, aren't you? I mean, it wouldn't be a Pabs project unless it had some resin, I think, in there somewhere, right? Working on a Kotobukiya Zoids Liger 0. Yeah, I think, did you show me that? Somebody showed me that. There's another guy, a guy I work with who actually likes the Zoid stuff. I remember back in the day I bought this one. It was a big gorilla. Had motors in it. The thing would walk. And it had a Gatling gun on the shoulder. I think it was called a Gorgola or something. But that was the early Zoids days when they had that stuff. All right, so I'm going to leave this runner here for a second because I got a couple more pieces to cut. Yeah, just trying to bring out as much detail as I can. Yeah, I know. That's one of the really, if you've never experimented with resin before, it can be challenging. It can be unnerving to work with something that takes quite a bit of prep work. Unless, of course, you're 3D printing, then there's a little bit different. But anything that's coming out of a mold, you've got to get rid of the mold release. You got to make sure your parts are clean, and then there's a lot of sanding. Usually maybe some cleanup work, stuff like that. So it takes a little more effort, but typically, if you get a good cast, the details are just astonishing on some of that stuff. I mean, my first experience with resin was I did a conversion kit on a Sotheby 1.0, and it was, I guess it'd be considered a dress up because it used the original frame. It just had all the external armor that was done, but I had no experience at all. I didn't know what I was doing. I managed to get through it. I did a candy red paint job, which was shouldn't have been trying that either because I had no experience at all with resin. So it was just like, what am I doing? But I managed to get through it, not realizing that parts didn't fit right. I should have been able to warm them up a little bit, heat them up, and reshape them, if they didn't fit right, because some of that stuff gets deformed a little bit when it's taken out of the mold. Well, these pieces fit right. Oh, yeah, we got to get them just in there, just right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Ken's one. Yeah, I was just talking about the Zoids. So that is you. Good job, man. You're still working on it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you coming in. So, anywho, this is that engine or the centerpiece, and these have to kind of slide in really carefully into these grooves. This is definitely going to need to be taken apart. Okay. So now I'm supposed to join. This is where it gets interesting because I'm supposed to put that plastic, that clear piece in between here. And this is why I probably won't do it because there was one piece like this one here that goes over the top of the base. This is the glass. This goes on here. And then there's this round section that goes on top. Well, it has a little slot cut into it where light is supposed to come through. But if you press this down, I mean, it is tight. It's a really tight fit. And I'm like, if I do that now, I'm never getting that piece apart ever again. So that's why I'm just not assembling some of those things with the clear pieces, because it's just, I don't want to damage them trying to take it apart. It's just not going to be easy. So yeah, I'll put that on screen. This is what we're talking about when you're dealing with resin. This is, you want more detail, yeah. It's either that or you get out your scribers and you start scribing your own panel lines, but that takes a lot of effort too, and sometimes it's easy to make a piece look worse than it was. It's a challenge anytime you're either trying to add detail or add your own detail or buy a dress-up kit of some kind. It can be daunting. But forgot where I was going with that. So this goes together like that. It's just a little, there's actually slots in it. You can kind of see the light through it. Right? Yeah, you can see the light through it. Well, that's where it goes around. It kind of sandwiches in this thing. And I think this thing is keyed, so it does go one direction only. One of them's round, and the other one has no. That one is round. Okay, so this does only go one direction. It's one of those things where I'm going to see how tight this is, but yeah, this is really tight. Oh boy, no. I think I'm going to leave that out. Yeah, this is just one of those things, guys. I do not want to assemble it right now because if I get it together, it's never coming apart. So I'm not going to glue this either because these two pieces go together like that. And so I've got to paint everything first before I can even think about putting that together. So that being said, I'll see maybe about installing the other halves of this thing, but those are both the same. Excuse me. Anybody got anything to drink? I could really use one right now. I had to run in the door and turn on the computer and get going. I didn't have time to make anything. I usually like to have a beer or something going on. Otherwise, I just get boring. It's nicer to... I think you guys have a better time when I'm not boring, right? I don't know. Am I being boring? Try not to be. Anyway. Ooh, there's a mold line there. I just saw that. I'm going to have to take that out. There are some little mold lines on this. They're not easy to see, but I'm sure they show up more once you hit it with primer. So, are you on tomorrow, Ken? can't. I don't know. I don't remember what your schedule is. I don't know if you work the same as ours, or are you on a completely different schedule? Or not. So maybe by next week I'll have some of this stuff painted up and ready to start assembling. I don't think clear coats will harm anything as far as like the lighting goes. So I could probably paint everything and then finish the assembly and clear coat everything at once. Because there's no clear windows in this. They're all kind of that opaque frosted look to it anyway, so it's not going to matter if I hit those with a flat coat after that. I think just initially, the initial paint, I have to make sure I don't get any of those pieces covered and stuff. So yeah, here's one of the things. Who was it? It was Mark. Mark was talking about this. There are these two caps to this. They're keyed in a certain way. So I imagine they have to go. Yes, they have to go a certain way on both of them. Pay close attention to that because it'd be real easy to glue this together with it clocked in the wrong position. I see that now because there's a keyway on both sides of this. And then these are also keyed. So this is going to go on there. This is going to go on this side. So I can leave those on. So that's the center section of that tail end of this ship. But I can't glue this together, unfortunately, because I need to insert that or install that clear glass piece first. But I guess I can kind of see how this might go on the ship. Is there doesn't really specify the direction once you get this part together. It's just getting up to this, you have to have it in the right position. So this is going to go in like that. So there you go. See, I guess I could put some blue tack or something to hold these on, but that's going to stick on like that. Oh, there we go. Now you can see it. So down to one watcher. Who's watching with me? I might just put some blue tack on there. I'll keep it all together. Let's try that and see how that works out. I like the use of blue tack much, only because sometimes it's hard to get off the pieces, but it's not too terribly. I'm going to take it off before I paint. I'm just going to put it in a couple of spots just to kind of hold this together. Now we're back up to 3. Uh-oh, I lost my other one. Gosh darn it. Well, maybe I'll just get a big piece in there. Just trying to keep this cap from coming off. But I don't know exactly how much to use. I just can't glue this together yet because I have to put a lighting piece in here, and if I do that, I can't. Here, maybe that'll work. Let's try that. So where's my? I can't even tell how this is keyed. I guess I'll just put it together this way. No, that's not going to work. Shit. trouble here. I'm trying to get these two pieces to stay without gluing it together. Yeah, that was on top. Okay, so I had that right. And maybe I'll just get a bigger piece. I don't know. I'm trying to use some blue tack just to hold it for the sake of snapping this thing together. There, we'll try that. And like that. There. All right. Well, that's sort of going to work. I'm just going to leave it sit there. And we'll go to the next step. So yeah, that would be the last part of this would be snapping that or connecting that harness in there and moving on to the back half of the ship here. So the next page actually has a comparison of both airbrushes. It's kind of funny because you got the actual HPC Plus and then the Architect ship, and then it's got a breakdown of the HPC Plus parts, and then an actual breakdown of the model kit. So it's kind of entertaining to see those things. They really did a good job with this. Quite pleased with the look of it so far. So now we're building. This is going to be the back section of the ship here. Right here, the very last tail section with the thruster out the back, and also one more harness piece, one more harness connector, and another LED or two. I can't see that. Actually, there's one. Looks like maybe 3 or 4 LEDs on this. I'm sorry, no, that's the wrong one. Oh no, there might be two to 4 LEDs for this last piece. Actually, no, that's the other. Yeah, I was right the first time. So, yeah, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 LEDs that go into this. So that's going to go in this glass piece here. So I need F1 and F5. That's these two. Yep. And these are all internal pieces that will not be seen, with the exception of whatever light passes through them. So I'm not spending a hell of a lot of time addressing nubs. I mean, I am clipping them down. I'm cleaning up that portion. I'm not leaving giant nubs on. Don't get me wrong. But I'm really not overly concerned with sanding anything off because there's really nothing. Once I clip it down clean to the surface, there's nothing left that really needs to be, except these are undergated, so I do have to clip that off. It's weird how they used undergates on some of these clear pieces and some they didn't. I don't know why they would or would not. It just doesn't make any sense, but I do appreciate that they used undergates on some of these pieces so you don't have any blemishes or anything like that. This actually, I might clean that one up only because that looks like it's a actual. It's going to be a visible light source. So I'm going to sand those off. I don't think I'm on camera much. I'm going to move this up just a bit so we can see what I'm doing more. So just got these 2 clear pieces, and then I'll have to grab one of those LED sections that's going to go in here. And once I get this cleaned up, I'll install that and we'll see how that goes. It's going to kind of take like a interesting bend. I got to put one board in here, and then it's connected by 2 smaller wires that have to kind of fold back on itself, and that goes at this portion of it. So basically, I'm going to get my tweezers out here. So here's the harness piece that has to go in there. This also has a connector on this end, and there's 1, 2. Well, there's 2 LEDs on this side. There's 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like 8 LEDs maybe on just this one board. It's kind of crazy. So this goes, looks like face down. So this has to sit in here first. Looks like that's how it goes. So that goes down in here, and then they want you to fold this up. Oh boy, that's interesting. And kind of come back down onto those two pins. There's two little alignment pins. So this might be one of those challenging sections a friend or somebody was talking about when building this thing, because there, I think that's how it's supposed to go. So you can kind of see I had to fold those wires back on itself just a little bit to get those two. Wow, those two pins to line up. I think that's in, right? Well, let's see. This other half is supposed to go on like so. Let's see if it does. Yeah, this is another one I'm going to have to glue and probably hold it together, because this is the blue. This will be the blue like thruster out the back. But because of those wires there, it's kind of being a little springing up and springing a little bit. It's like bouncing, so it's not going to stay closed. I'm going to have to glue this, and then I'll have to put some clips on it to kind of hold it together. Let me see. Maybe I don't have this fully installed right. No, that's got to be how it goes. It doesn't show the connector on the top, so this has got to be the way it goes. Let me see here. That goes. Yeah, I guess that's it. Because that's going to snap in there. Huh. It's interesting. It's not really delicate, but it is at the same time. It's kind of sketchy. You know what? I'm going to try something here. I'm going to see if this, I think this actually goes the other direction. I'm wondering if this booklet is wrong. Damn, I can't get this to come up. There we go. Just trying to pop up this piece on the end here without, oh boy, not breaking the tab off. There's an alignment pin, and I can't get it to come off that second pin. Trying to get this harness to, or this little circuit board to come up. It feels like it wants to break off. I'm trying to really not do that. Come on, sure shit. No worries. I did notice that these clear pieces are pretty fragile. Like they tend to break pretty easily. All right, I'm going to see, because the wires, they show the wires on the top. There is... Well, I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to go this way. No, because that shows it. I had it right. I don't know. I think I had it right. Because if this was upside down... Let me see. Will that fit back in there? You know what? That looks like it fits better. Yeah, I bet you that's the way it goes. No, actually it can't. Nope, it can't. Because the holes are oriented a certain way for that circuit board to lock into that other piece. So it has to go this way. LED 4. So that has to go that way. Damn, this is fucking... Seems rather delicate. right, well, first I'm going to fix this pin that popped off. So I'm just going to bust out the big 4x magnifier so I can see what the hell I'm doing. I'm going to fix this because this little pin broke off. It helps line up this circuit board, so I'm just going to reattach it. Hopefully without too much fuss. I think it goes. Actually, I don't think that's going to be a big deal. Yeah. I suppose I could glue it, but I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. Uh-oh. Hang on a sec here. My computer is trying to update, and I'm like, no, you're not. Let's pick a time. And it just went away. Oh, come on now. Are you serious? Hang on. I don't know if you guys can see on camera. I'm trying to deal with my computer setting right now because it just wanted to try to restart. 8. There. Today. All right. I just had a pop-up on my window, on my computer, trying to update. So I had to shut that down before my computer restarted on us. I'm just trying to see if I really need to reattach this pin that popped up. I don't think I need to worry about it. I'm going to try without it. All right, so this goes down this direction first. And then this pops in like that. Yeah, I think that'll be all right. Ah, shit. Or not. Problem is these little wires are so tiny and they're pushing up. Yeah, I can hold it shut. Okay, there we go. I think I got it now. All right, so this has to go. I don't need the super glue out. I can get rid of that. Just bust this back out. I'm going to need some clamps though because this isn't going to stay together on its own. So this will come down, sandwich that. Wow. See, that's what doesn't make sense to me. That's why I think it goes the other way, but it can't. It cannot. It's twisted. So there's my problem. So that has to go. No, there. Okay. So I just discovered something. The harness on this, I think this has to go this way, and only because this other piece has 2 tabs that go down and press down on this board. And when it's out flipped over the other way, the connector is on the bottom and it makes it stick up too high. Whereas this, that looks perfect. Okay. So I'm going to change this. I think this still has to be twisted, but the board goes this way and then down there. Much better. All right, so yes, the people that have done this kit before are absolutely correct. You have to be very careful about the orientation of things because this fits together way better than it was originally, because the way it shows it here, it doesn't even show the connector on the back of the board. It just shows it. It looks like you can't see it, so I thought it was supposed to be on the downside. But if you do that, then it raises that board up too high, and you can't get the cap on. So that's where we're going to leave it. I'm going to glue it just like that. Now that it's in there, I think we're good. I don't even need any clamps at this point. Originally, I thought I was going to need clamps because it wasn't staying together. Just by the way the wiring was kind of pushing up on it. But now, with it installed in this orientation, it fits perfectly. Yeah, I think we're good. At least I hope so, because that's the way it's going together. And I'm gluing it shut, so better work. Yeah. See, this is the tail section lighting. Goes all the way to the back. So now that's inside. Circuit board inside, wiring all inside there. So once those LEDs light this whole thing up, that light will transfer to all the different areas it's supposed to. So with that there, pull down C again. C runner. C. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Okay. And hey, Craig, how you doing, man? Long time. I don't think have you been on the stream before? I don't remember. I know we talk about photos and stuff like that, but I'm not sure you've tuned in yet. That's cool. Good to have you. Just building this Iwata Architect space colonizer, and just putting together some of the lighting pieces that go in, and some of them I'm leaving alone. So that's supposed to go. Well, you really got to pay attention to how this shit goes together. One's got a hole and one doesn't. Maybe they don't. I don't know. This is one of those pieces. It's like, does it go this way or does it go? No, it looks like it goes this way. There we go. So that goes in just like that. Yeah, see. Yeah, man, I've tuned in before. I should be working. That is true. That's all good, though. As long as the bosses don't find out. Or maybe you are the boss. Maybe it doesn't matter. So this is going to go here, and then this is supposed to plug in to a harness and plug into here. Yeah, so the full length of this thing is going to be just about what we're looking at here. It's about 10 inches or so. Let's see. Oop, shit. Dropping stuff. Damn it. Come on back. All right. So, yeah, if I put this on the end, like I have it here, yeah, that's about 11, actually. 11 inches, nice. That's big. Yeah, I'm the boss. All right, well, good. Then you can do whatever you want at this point, right? You can hang out, watch me build, watch me talk to myself. So anyway, let's see that. Yep, that is it. So that's how they have it on here. That one went on. Okay, so I got it right. This is just, it's just, you have to be careful. I'm being real careful to make sure I'm paying attention here. So A, 13 and 14. All right. Gosh, nothing wants to stay on the table today. Every time I clip something off, it just takes off and starts running. It's getting a little annoying. Here's another one of those pieces that's undergated, which is nice, I guess, because you don't want to mess up the smooth round surfaces here. Let's see, is this one? No, but this one isn't. See, that's what I don't get. Some of these pieces are, and some aren't. You'd think they would be on something like this that has a curved piece to it, but it's not. So I don't think anybody chimed in either that or I missed it. Thinking about changing my streaming day to Wednesdays. Just to put something in the middle of the week. Mainly because I'm trying to get a balance of life and work and all that stuff. So just kind of throwing it out there. I've been doing them on Sundays now for a bit, and just trying to decide if I want to switch it up. So let me know what you think. Let's see, this is gonna go this way. I think not really super clear, although yeah, it looks like that's it there. So that goes like that. And then this goes in there, and it's keyed. Got a keyed fit. If I can get it, there we go. That goes like that. Not too shabby. Now I got a bunch of those little tiny pieces to go on here. I'm not sure I want to clip all those on. They're just really small. If they fit, that's fine, but I got to paint all this stuff, and I'm just worried about losing stuff once I take it apart. So I may leave those off. I might put those on though, because those are fine. C2, yeah. Got two little tiny. I mean, I'm on a mat, so I don't have my chair directly on carpet, but I could just see one of these little tiny round pieces just disappearing. So I think I'm going to just leave those off for now. Once I get, I'm going to need to cut this. These are some tiny nubs. And you can't even really get them with because they're too close together. So I'm just slicing them off, and then I'm going to clean it up with a sanding stick after that. Yeah, didn't take much. Got to jump into a meeting. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, good to see you too, Craig. Thanks for chopping in. Hopefully work's not treating you too rough. Hopefully your meeting goes good. Catch you next time. That's it. I haven't missed anything. Where are we at? We're at 7:30. Gosh, has it already been an hour and a half? Maybe we should call it after this, since time flies. Yeah, these fit nicely. These will go on here. Okay. I was worried about some of the smaller bits not really staying on, but these have a pretty good snug press fit. So, right. Okay, cool. Those might too, but I think I'm gonna leave them off. So, anyway, with that, okay, guys, I think I'm going to call this one a night, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for joining in, everybody that came in. I hope, hopefully next time we'll see. I think I'm probably going to switch up the day to Wednesday, so there's going to be another stream Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. So we'll get back into that, and I'll change up my schedule on Twitch and make sure everybody knows that. So because I have them scheduled for every Sunday, so I got to change that up. And yeah, be good to everybody. Hug your relatives. Hug the ones, hug your family members. Let them know you love them. Because tomorrow they may be gone, and I say that a lot, and it's only because I'm dealing with some stuff in my family. We're going to lose somebody sooner than I would have hoped for. But so we're just going through that process right now, and it's tough sometimes. But I appreciate all the positive vibes and from all my friends and family that know what's going on and have tuned in. So that's why I say it at the end of every show: just hug your loved ones. Let them know you love them. Call your mom, call your dad. If you haven't done it in a while, let them know you love them. And it's all good. We'll catch you next time. See you on the flip.